Hello and welcome back to Locator Gaming. I'm continuing on with my Tainted Grail playthrough. We're about to start Chapter 5. We just finished Chapter 4 in the last playthrough. We still have our underbrush worm roaming around on the map, the 4 dwellers roaming around on the map. We have the In Search of Power card. This is secret card 65. It's place a dial and a quest token on here. Each time you defeat a purple encounter, increase the dial by 1 to a maximum of 8. And then we also have the Hunted. At the start of the day, move the Pursuer according to Chapter 13 in the Book of Secrets. We've got our items here. Still only got 1 skill there. We've got 4 experience, but I'm kind of saving up to buy some more skills. And to get another aggression skill, because we've got 1, 2, 3 points in the pair, so our 4th point is going to be 8 experience points. We could get a practicality point for pretty cheap, because that'd only be the 2nd in this pair. But I don't know. So we've also got 12 food, only 1 wealth, a couple reputation, and 7 magic. We lost the Tainted Grail. That gave us a magic at the beginning of every turn, or every day, I mean, sorry. Which is kind of a bummer, because that was cool. And I'm sure that I missed quite a few magic that way. But it is what it is. Okay, let's just get going. Chapter 5 setup. Prepare the event deck. Find all the parts of the Chapter 5 and stack them from... Oh, I think I did look at this setup the other day because I had pulled out the Chapter 5 stuff, and I think it said that we needed just the level 2 and level 3 enemies. If you have the Hunted secret card, discard the top card from the event deck. All right, so we're just going to straight out discard Chapter 1. Yeah, I did look at the back of this one. For 1 to 3 players, we use the 2 and 3 level enemies. And then for 3 to 4 players, we would add another Guardian, which we don't have to do. And now we're just ready to start Chapter 5 of the Fall of Avalon. Discard this card, reveal the top card of the event deck. So we will throw Chapter 5 to the back of this one here. And then just to make sure, yeah, so I've got the 2 and 3 stuff in. And let's just give these encounter decks a quick shuffle. We still don't need the level 4 stuff in there. When we get to the level 4 stuff, this 4 dweller card needs to go back into the purple deck. Because you're not supposed to have it out. It says when you encounter him to draw it, to pull it out of the purple deck. Which leads me to believe that it needs to be in the purple deck. And I think there's another one. There might be more than one in the purple deck. And he's not a guardian, so under normal circumstances, if you pulled him from the deck, it would just be a quick encounter and it'd be over. He'd be off of the map, but this is a special guy who is just chasing us. Okay, so it said pull the top card of the event deck, which is part 2 of Chapter 5. Place this card on the top of the active quest pile. The Fern Sea is notoriously difficult to navigate, riddled with hidden crevasses and caves. Finding anything there might involve a considerable effort. Quest. Retrieve the true gale from the Fern Sea, which is really close. The Fern Sea is right here, and we are here. Here's Beor over here. We've got 5 left on this dial, 5 left on this dial, and 4 left on this dial. Put special event B on top of the event deck. Okay, so here's special B. Put it there on top of the event deck. Then place 8 -1 per player random events. So we need 7 random events. If you have secret card 8, resolve the Chapter 5 part 3 card from the event deck, otherwise continue the game. We do not have secret card 8. That was the Tainted Grail. Okay, so we have this retrieve the true grail from the Fern Sea is our quest, and we need 7 random events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Top of the event deck. And then we just continue from where we were. We've got 2 energy, no terror, 7 health. Now, I don't remember, and I hope I haven't screwed this up, but it doesn't look like I have used the Lucky Piglet yet this day, because he does not have a time dial on it. I am notoriously bad at remembering that stuff, though. So, let's go. Let's use an energy. I think we just go to the Fern Sea. We could go either direction. If we go this way, it's draw a blue encounter once per day. If we go this way, it's draw a blue encounter once per day. There's a Menhir up there. Might be good just to get the knowledge of what's there. So we're going to go this way. We got to draw a blue encounter. Hallucinations. The local granary was contaminated with ergot, turning regular people into raving lunatics. Okay, we can do, there's 2 different options, 2 different level 1s, so it's not 2 steps, it's either or. We can navigate the crowd, which is probably what we will do. Boy, this is an odd one. There's red above the gray. We could avoid this by gaining 1 gaining 1 terror for each spirituality, which we don't have any spirituality, and we have to pay 2 rep. What does it mean when it ends in the red? It just has to end at the bottom for you to lose, right? If the marker in Affinity track is on the lowest slot, you fail the encounter. I guess that could help where I have that card. If it's not in the green, it goes up. The question is, do I even want to do this? I have no spirituality, so I could just gain no terror. I could pay my 2 rep to avoid it. Do I need rep? I feel like as Beor, I don't. Do I have to pay an energy to avoid? I was kind of hoping to be able to move over into the Fern Sea, because there's a dream there that I want to have. Let's go to... This will be quick to look up. Escape or avoiding. If the guard has an avoid action, you may decide to bypass it. You need to pay all costs and meet all requirements in the avoid section, then the encounter card at the bottom of the encounter deck. Yes, so it does not say. Interestingly enough, in the escape, it also doesn't say you need to spend an energy. It just says do the failure. In combat, when you want to escape, it specifically says you have to spend an energy, but for diplomacy, it does not. I wonder if I just take the... I draw cards and see if I could beat this. Because I really want the experience. I need to get more skills and stuff. It'd be 2 damage and 2 terror. It's possible I will lose. I'll get more damage when I walk into the Fern Sea. I'm just going to avoid it. Pay the rep. Whatever, it's fine. All right, let's check out the Menhir, just so we get some notes on what it takes to light this Menhir. 152. Requires all characters. The Menhir writes secret card in that you don't have the Winds of Weirdness status, which we do not. So 152 requires 3 energy, 3 wealth. This one's expensive. 2 magic. And it's just 6 days for 1 to 2 players. Okay. Now I'm going to spend my next energy to move to the Fern Sea, and we have to toss a dial, and we're looking for a Grail. If we get a Skull, we're going to lose a health. Okay, we got a Grail, nothing happens. And I'm going to end my day there. So we're going to rest to consume a food, get a health. Terror would go down, but we're good there. We restore to 6 here. We're not spending XP. We're not changing our decks, and now we're going to have the Dream. 153. You're under the canopy of fern leaves. They must be huge. Then you realize they only appear so large because you're beneath them, far below the ground. You ignore the cold coming from one side and the stench coming from the other, and go into the dark. You escape the choking cloud of dust by sliding down the strange tongue. There's a battle around you, ancient heroes fighting four-dwellers, pushing them back into the ocean. One of the beasts holds a shiny vessel. You follow them toward the vast rumbling waters. The highest prize awaits at the end. Hint, the Fern Sea underground hides many secrets. Maybe this dream can lead you the right way. Okay, so what does it say? You're far below the ground. Ignore the cold coming from one side and the stench coming from the other, and go into the dark. So we want to go into dark. Avoid cold and stench, sounds like. You escape the choking cloud of dust by sliding down the strange tongue. So we want to go down. And if we see a strange tongue. Okay. I'm not going to put the book away because we're going to be exploring the Fern Sea because we have to go there to retrieve the True Grail, right? So we'll see what we can find. Start the day. There's no expired Menhirs. No time tokens to remove. Oh, I could have used my Piglet to draw a different blue encounter. I keep forgetting about that. I mean, I spent about a minute talking about the Piglet. Not that long, a couple seconds. I mentioned the Piglet at the beginning of this episode. Those are quests. They're not time dials. So those don't move until they're instructed to be moved. Reveal the next event card. Heavy Rainfall. Each travel costs an additional movement, but we have Adventurer's Kit, so we ignore Heavy Rainfall. Move Guardians. So the Four-Dweller, these are not connected, so he's still chasing us this way. Underbrush Worm goes west. And these are going to be the active item and secret cards. All right, so now we start spending. Okay, we're just going to explore. Spend an action to explore. In the Fern Sea. As far as your eyes can see, the ground is covered with waist-high ferns. There are no tracks or roads. Verdant plants grow too quickly, swallowing every inch of open land. There are precious few reasons to wander into the Fern Sea. Over the years, some enterprising merchants and travelers tried to use it as a shortcut on a long and dangerous trek between Camelot and the Crow's Nest. Most of them learned the hard way how dangerous this land was, with its ravines and deep holes obscured by a thick carpet of green leaves. Try to cross the Fern Sea. Is that a tower in the distance? Go to verse 2. Slide down the nearest ravine. Requires at least 1 courage. Go to verse 5. Slide down one of the openings in the middle of the fern. C requires at least one part of the under fern status. I'm almost positive we have nothing. No under fern statuses. Leave. I think we'll slide down. We've got 1 courage. There was something in the dream about sliding down. So we go to verse 5. You stand at the entrance of a complex of underground corridors. A choking, musty smell indicates the air might not be suitable to breathe. This complex of caves, known as the Underfern, is notoriously dangerous and difficult to navigate. If you do not have a good reason to be here, you should probably leave. If you haven't prepared an air dial yet, place a dial near your character board and set it to 6. It represents your limited supply of air. If you already have an air dial, reset it to 6. So we'll use a quest token, quest marker, and set it to 6. So we can leave the caves, exploration ends. We can go into a wet tunnel, go to verse 15, crawl downwards through a pit. Do we still just keep going down? I mean, there was the clue in the dream that said to go down. So we'll go down. Go to verse 1. Reduce the air dial by 1. If it reaches 0, each party member gains 1 terror and loses an energy. Then go to verse 16. If the air dial is not on 0, read on. You're in a cramped space with roots hanging from the ceiling. You see a narrow opening there, but you cannot reach it. Go up a slight slope towards a wet corridor. Choose the tight passage full of dead insects. Go to verse 9. So 15 was the same wet corridor that other one would have sent us to. So it told us to avoid the cold and avoid the stench, which we haven't heard anything about yet. Let's go dead insects passage. I have a feeling that I should be taking notes. So we're going to go the tight passage full of dead insects, verse 9. Reduce the air dial by 1. Uh-oh. If it reaches 0, each party member gains a terror and loses 1. And then you go to verse 16. If the air dial is not on 0, read on. A carpet of beetle carapaces crunches beneath your feet. Go through a wet corridor, verse 15. That's our third chance we could have gone there. Head toward a cramped space with roots hanging from the walls and ceiling. Go to verse 1. We just came from there. Choose an upward slope where a cold draft comes from. Go to verse 18. It said avoid the cold. We're not going to go there. Approach strange noises you hear in one of the downward tunnels. Go to verse 12. Okay, we'll do that. Reduce the air dial by 1. We're at 3. If it's 0, if it's not, a strange humanoid being with 2 tails protruding from its puffy pants turns toward you. A mask obscures its face. Riddles, it says, hopefully. We could delve into the corridor full of dried bugs. We just came from there. Go toward the sound of wind. Verse 20. Approach the man. Decrease the air dial by 1, only if it shows 2 or more, which it does. Resolve a special riddle or blue encounter on the right side of this page. So the book has a little encounter in it here you could do. After the encounter, make another choice. And the reward is a wealth or an experience. Failure is gain 2 terror. I think I'm just going to go. But wealth and experience. We can't really hook up anything. We can't get credit for hooking up anything. Let's just go past them. I don't want to spend another air and then potentially draw bad cards and have to get 2 terror. We want to go back to the bugs. No, go toward the sound of wind, verse 20. Verse 20, if you don't have part 1 of the Underfern status, go to, and then there's an otherwise, but we don't have any of the Underfern things, so let's try not to mess too much stuff up by putting the book down on top of stuff. Okay, we need to go to 1. If you haven't seen this before, you match up the skulls on the dial to the way the skulls are pictured in here, and then whatever number is, it's going to tell you something for the Book of Secrets. So that's 1, 7, 3. 173. All right, I didn't mess anything up. All right, Book of Secrets time, 173. Between the rocks, you find a backpack of another adventurer. Inside, there's a makeshift map of the corridors under Fernsea. It is incomplete, but indicates you must drop through another hole to reach the deepest caverns. At the bottom of the pack, you also find some useful items. Each party member gains an experience. Gain 2 random non-companion items and part 1 of the Underfern status. Okay. So we've got 1 part of the Underfern status. Do we have to get all 5 of these? This is going to take a while. 2 random non-companion items. We've got a weapon, the Poison Dagger. Flip this card, place 3 time dials on it, on the encounter card. During each delayed ability step, remove one of these tokens for a red cube. Okay. We're going to keep our runic sword equipped, I think. So that's going to go face down. And we get another weapon, a bow. At the start of combat, gain a cube. If the enemy has the slow trait, gain 2 more. This item has no effect if the encounter has the ambush trait. Okay. So we're not equipping those right now. Then what are we supposed to do? 173. Exploration ends. Okay. So we don't want to go back that way. I guess we spend another energy to explore again. There's try to cross the Fern Sea. Slide down the nearest ravine. Slide down one of the openings in the middle of the Fern Sea. Requires at least 1 part of the Underfern status. Go to verse 23 or verse 10, your choice. So we didn't read either of those 2 verses. We have 1 part of that. Let's start somewhere else instead of verse 5. So let's just go to the first option, I guess, 23. If you haven't prepared an air dial yet, place a dial near your character board and set it to 6. It represents your limited supply of air. So that was not probably the smartest thing, because we don't get to reset this. If we had gone back to verse 5, we could have reset it. Hang on, someone's knocking on the door. I gotta throw in a cut here real quick. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so if we would have gone down 5, we could have reset our air dial, but I chose, what did I choose? 23. Represents your limited supply. Okay, so our choices are: you feel an unpleasant chill from one of the corridors and decide to investigate, go to verse 18. Choose the first of the corridors overgrown with moss, go to verse 11. Choose the second of the corridors overgrown with moss. So we want to avoid the chill, so we won't investigate that. I guess we'll just keep going with the first option. So choose the first of the corridors overgrown with moss is verse 11. Reduce the air dial by 1. So it's at 2. If it reaches 0, blah, blah, blah. Dry moss and withered fungi rustle loudly. Sharp twigs scratch your calves. Eat some mind-expanding mushrooms. Requires maggot. To pay an energy, each party member loses 2 terror. Then make another choice. We don't have maggot. Delve into a curtain of lush green moss. Verse 23, we just came from there. Go where the moss thins out, replaced with the limestone bedrock. Go to verse 14. So we don't want to go back to where we just came from. That just wastes air. So I guess we'll try 14. Yep. Reduce the air dial by 1. So now we're at 1. If it reaches 0, you gain 3 terror and lose an energy. Your footsteps echo through the limestone corridor. Head toward dry plants, go to verse 11. Go down the steep corridor full of slippery mud, go to verse 3. Or choose the tunnel paved with sharp, loose stones. I think we want to keep going down. Choose a tunnel paved with sharp, loose stones. Head toward the dry plants. Did we just do 11? Yeah, we just did 11. We're going to keep going down, I guess. Verse 3. Reduce the air dial by 1. So we would have gotten something else to read here, but unfortunately our air dial is going to go to 0. So we're going to gain 3 terror, 1, 2, 3, and lose 2 energy. We have to go to verse 16. You slowly suffocate, your head and chest swell. You panic and run blindly, unsure of your direction. In the end, you crawl out of the complex and collapse between lush green ferns, happy to be alive, taking in great lungfuls of fresh air. Exploration ends. Well, do we do that again tomorrow? Basically got 1, 2, Well, I want to end the day. I don't want to lose any health or anything. So we're going to end the day. Consume a food. We'll get our health back. We'll drop a terror. Energy goes to 6. And then what? We already had the dream. We just start the next day. So reduce the time dials. 2, 3, 3. Boy, if this guy was over there, we'd be in some serious trouble. Then event card. Beast on the prowl. All players who are out of settlements roll a die. The player with the lowest roll immediately draws a green encounter. Okay, so we're drawing a green encounter. Alder tree. Some of its branches are dead and covered. Well, I'll put it up here. Some of its branches are dead and covered in snow. Some are green with fresh leaf buds, and some are in full bloom. So this tree is like existing in all seasons at the same time. Each party member loses a terror. That's helpful. Each party member gains 1 magic for each point of their spirituality and empathy, which we have none of. First time I've seen that green encounter. So that wasn't too terribly dreadful. Now the question is, do we go back in? So we're going to explore again. We got to find this grail. That's our quest. So we got to go back in. Do we go to 23 or do we go to 10? Because if we go to 23, we don't have an air dial now, so we could get an air dial set to 6. And it would cost us 3 or 4 if we went along the same path to get back to verse 3. Do we do 10? No, I want to do 3 again. I think. Let's go with what we know, and we know that we can get to another one of these skull things with 3 or 4 air. It's interesting that when your exploration ends, like, should you just remove the air dial? That should be something that it says, because if you go back out, your air should reset. But maybe that's part of the balancing. So we will go to the option that starts us at 23, and it says if you haven't prepared an air dial yet, our other one expired. So we've got an air dial. Set it to 6, represent your limited supply of air. We did not go towards the chill. We went to the first of the corridors, verse 11. We did not eat the mind-expanding mushrooms. We did not go back to 23. We went to 14. Then 14, we went down the steep corridor full of slippery mud. Go to verse 3. Oh wait, I'm going too fast because, hang on. 23, we went to 11. 11 tells us to reduce it by 1. Then we go to 14. 14 tells us to reduce the air dial by 1, so it's at 4. Then 3 tells us to reduce it by 1, so we're at 3. And then we've got another one of these skull thingies to look at. So that's 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? I went way too fast again. Hang on. He would have moved there after I did the event card. He would have moved there. The green worm. Hey, we got an X. Glad I remembered that I hadn't done that. Okay. 3, 2, 3. I hope that's the right number. It's not the right number because there is no 3, 2, 3. Three, 2, 3, 2, 7. You slide down the muddy corridor and finally end in a puddle of musty water. You curse, then catch a glimpse of gold beneath the water surface. You found a broken cask of coins. Each party member gains an experience. Okay. So that's 6. Let's just turn in 5 for a purple. Gain 5 wealth. Thank you. Gain part 2 of the Underfern status, then go back to verse 14 in the journal. Okay, part 2. So do we have to lose another air, I guess, then? So now we haven't done 22 yet. Reduce the air dial by 1. So we're at 1. Roll a die and add your caution. If the result is fewer than 5, you trip on the treacherous rocks and you lose a health. Then we get to make a choice. I haven't rolled a die in a while. So that's a 5 plus 1 of caution is 6. We don't lose any health. We can choose a passage made of solid stone. That's verse 14. We've been there already. Take a corridor with dry dirt on the ground. Go to 19. Reduce the air dial by 1. If it reaches 0, which it does, we gain 3 terror. 1, 2, 3. And lose 2 energy. Go to verse 16. Alrighty. Where am I at? 19, 16. That's the slowly suffocate. Exploration ends. All right, there were lots of choices in 19, so I think we want to get back there again tomorrow. What happens when you're going insane? Your rest no longer recovers any health. You have no dreams, only nightmares. Whenever you travel or explore, toss a dial. You can lose an energy to continue, and if a grail comes up, nothing happens. Because if I get more terror by running out of air, I'm going to go insane. I don't really have any way to lower my terror. These menhirs are almost out. You can trade for some wealth. What does this one need again? Now that I've got 5 health, or I mean, I just got 5 wealth, so 3 energy, 3 wealth, and 2 magic. So I got 3 on these dials, but 1, 2, 3 turns and the 4 dwellers on our space. These 2 are not connected. Oh boy. Well, I don't know what else to do with that energy. So I think I'll just end the day. I gotta consume a food. It's a good thing I stocked up on food. These would be ridiculously hard, like if you didn't stock up. We just go to 6 here. There's no time things, so this goes to 1, 2, and 2. Reveal the next event card. Violent thunderstorm. Lose a health each time you travel today. Good thing we're not like traveling. Move him closer. And we'll start. All right, so now I just need to remember how to get there. I should have been taking notes. I spent the exploration. We're going to go to 23. Prepare the air dial. Takes us to 11. And we lose when we go to 11. At 11, we go to 14. When we go to 14, we lose 1. Then we go to 22 with the sharp blue stones, and we have to roll again, and we lose another one, so we're at 3. We add our caution. So we got a 4. If it's fewer than 5, this is 4 plus 1 is 5, so we don't lose a health. We take the corridor with dry dirt on the ground. We go to verse 19. Reduce the air dial by 1 again, so that takes us to 2. Each step raises a cloud of dust. There was a cloud of dust in the dream, irritating your throat. In the dream said we go down, right? Your torch flickers. Go down the steep slide is verse 24. Take a passage made of limestone is 22. We've already been there. That's where we just got not wounded, was 22. One of the corridors reeks of death. We avoided the stench. The dream told us to avoid the stench and the cold. We've avoided the cold already. Then we go down the steep slide. Reduce the air dial by 1. Oh, great. It's on 1. Is this even possible? You squeeze between finely engraved and painted pillars. The art depicts ancient scenes of people killing Four dwellers and fighting off the weirdness. It reminds you of your mission. It brings you hope. Each party member loses 2 terror. Okay. Then go down toward the growling sounds. Verse 25, up toward the terrible smelling grotto. So it wants us to keep going towards this smell, but we're not going to do that. So go down toward the growling sounds is verse 25. If you're playing chapter 5 or higher, go to verse 13. If you don't have part 3 of the Underfern status, we've only got 1 and 2. 1 and 2, so this is another skull thing, and we'll hopefully read it correctly the first time. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. This deep cavern looks older than Tuathane itself. Huge reliefs on its walls depicting four-dweller rituals and gatherings are visible in the daylight seeping through long shafts in the ceiling. Only after a while, a faint glint of gold somewhere to the side catches your attention. You approach it. Your knees buckle. Hang on. All right. Before you, covered in cobwebs and dirt, a radiant cup rests on the floor of the cavern. Is that easy? You feel your heart skip a beat. You've made it. The grail lies before you, discarded and forgotten. Just a single touch is enough for you to know that the artifact is real, though made from some strange metal, golden color, yet opalescent like weird steel. It feels warm in your hands. You raise it in reverence to the light as grand visions fill your head. For a moment, you feel invincible. A hero of legend, destined to change the world. Then a fresh breeze from one side corridor sobers you. It's time to go back. Gain part 3 of the Underfern status and the True Grail secret card, card 7. Hang on, let me put something to mark this page back here. All right, gain part 3. The Underfern status. True Grail secret card. It's a relic. Do we have any other relics? No, that we had that Tainted Grail. At the start of the day, lose 1 terror, and then gain either 1 energy, 1 health, or 1 magic. Oh man, this is sweet. I was sad when I lost a Tainted Grail because that gave me a magic, but now I have the choice of an energy, health, or magic. Don't take this away from me, game. Each party member gains 3 experience. Yes. Now we've got 9 experience. And 3 magic. If all characters are in this exploration, go to verse 412 in the Book of Secrets. Okay. Try not to lose where... I forget it. It's card 153. Where are we going? 412. All characters are present. As you approach the tunnel exit, you hear a low hum that seems to grow louder with every step. It almost feels as if the Fern Sea turned into a storm-torn ocean above you. As soon as the daylight envelops you, this hum splits into sounds of human cries and dying horses. A young squire with an arrow in his back lies at your feet in the mouth of the cavern. A battle rages before you. Go to verse 414. You're not sure who's fighting who. At least 2 separate war bands war with each other, and with soldiers bearing signs of Camelot. What would cause them to clash so far from human settlements? Unless... It takes you a moment to realize they should have spotted you a long while ago, if not for a pale sphere that seems to envelop you. Don't stand there, fools, a tall hooded figure shouts, emerging from behind the rock. I can't keep this up for long. You retreat from the battle, afraid to ask any questions, as your savior seems strained to the brink of collapse. You manage to get 100 paces from the melee when a stray arrow strikes the cloaked figure in the back. 4 arms stretch out from under the cloak. The hood falls, revealing long, dark blue hair. A sharp cry resonates in the air, in the language you don't understand. The Lady of the Lake lies before you in a pool of blood, just as soaked as you are. You drag her to safety behind one of the rocks, and she gestures for you to lean closer. Each party member gains a terror. Did I not heal the 2 terror? Or did I not heal a terror when I ate food? I think I should be 1 terror lower, and I'm going to check that. Go to verse 485. I'm pretty sure I should be 1 terror lower. Her voice growing weaker with each second, Pale Lady explains that spies of all major powers of Avalon caught wind of the location of the Grail. Then their forces swiftly moved in to intercept it. The cup. I did not object when your friends took it from Tuathon. I even agreed to help them, but the knights, they did an unspeakable thing, and now the Grail causes even more bloodshed. The cup solves nothing. It will not save the Minhirs or bring peace. It will only bring the end faster. You must place it back where it belongs, where it all started, in the heart of Tuathon. Do you understand? You're speechless. The thought of penetrating the pure weirdness of the Four-Dweller capital seems outlandish. You want to ask 100 questions, but it doesn't seem the Pale Lady will be able to answer more than 1. So we've got 2 options. We can either accept and ask her how to get into Tuathon, or we can refuse to take the cup to Tuathon. I'm taking the cup, but it's just, do I want to take it to the capital or not? Sure, let's just accept. Go to 481. There's a human called Orin Merlin's descendant, who was in the city. Find his Crannog behind the sacred plains, south of the place your people call Farshire. Farshire. So south of Farshire? There's a bunch of weird drawings on here. You can also ask the last of your compatriots, Priestess Nianti, in the Whispering Forest. And if you can, south of Camelot, there's a shimmering beach. Our relic can be found just offshore. It will help. So we've been to the shimmering beach. That's where we got the doll that we had to give to whatever that lady's name, Morgaine, in Camelot. All right. Pale Lady is barely conscious now. You must go, she says. Go before someone finds you. I will rest here. Gain the deep secret status if you don't have it yet. We already have the deep secret status. Don't remember how we got that. We can insist on helping her, or we can leave. She tells us we have to go. Should we try to help her? Let's insist on helping her. 132. She told us to leave, though. This is probably going to backfire. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be the good guy. You fill the true grail with the last of your water and have the Pale Lady drink. As she cradles the cup, some of her strength seems to return, even though she looks even sadder. Arthur, he entrusted this vessel to me 600 years ago, but I was afraid my people would follow its aura and find me. I forsook it, and now it's back in my hands. So strange. She wants to say something more, but a band of mercenaries suddenly stumbles upon your location. Resolve the Warband Grey encounter. Difficulty 4. If you win, do this. If you lose, do that. All right. Because I've only got 2 and 3 stuff in here, I need to go to the box to grab the difficulty 4 Warband Grey encounter. I'll throw in a cut and be right back. All right. I've got the Warband Grey encounter. Not going to be fun. They're defensive and a horde. Defensive. Each first combat card of the activation adds 1 less red cube. And horde. During step 3, the active character discards 2 combat cards from the top of their combat deck. So that's just going to accelerate the combat. And we have to do 17 damage. Opportunity is 1 unavoidable damage. 3 wealth and 2 items is the loot. And we get an experience and a rep. We got to draw really good here. Do I still have a scene set up to zoom in? I do. We'll zoom in here. All right. 1, 2, 3. Crippling strike. 17 cubes. I mean, geez. Is this even going to be possible? Not without getting our big attack, I don't think. You choose the enemy attack. Except run away. That would get us nothing because of because of defensive. That at least would let us draw some cards during the enemy step. I think we have to mulligan. I mean, even drawing into our big card here. Dire Rage. Doesn't link. Would be 2, so we'd only get 1, and it would cost us an energy. And it doesn't, there's no bonus card. And we could put 2 on it with time, so that would be 3 next turn. Then if we start this one, that's 4, 5. Our weapon makes it 6, 7, 8, 9. And we'd have to draw into our really good card. Guess we mulligan to 1 more powerful blow. No. All right, so we're just going to run. Cost us an energy. And we take an unavoidable damage from the opportunity attack. I really don't know as a solo player, if I didn't have that 10 cube card, how are you supposed to win combats? Like, I don't think it's scaled very well. Or should I have just been really seriously upgrading my my combat deck? I mean, that much more? Or is there that much more damage in these upgrades? I mean, not really. Because the fact that you only get to draw 1 card, Staggering Strike is pretty good, I guess. There's 5 possible cubes on there. Okay, so I took the damage, I took the energy hit, we lost the encounter. If you lose or escape, you're forced away and separated from the lady. Without her guidance, you have only 1 lead. Sorcerer Orin was one of the last living people to visit Tuathon. Maybe he will be able to help you. Go to verse 470. Gain the matricide status. Aw. Does that mean the lady's dead? Okay, matricide. And then go to 484. So all that did was just get us that status. Each party member gains an experience and a rep. 1 experience, 1 rep. Congratulations, you've completed your current chapter. Discard all events, including active quests, then either save your game or draw a chapter 6 setup card. And follow its instructions to begin the next chapter. We've got some new tasks. Ask Sorcerer Orin or Nianti, priestess of the first expedition, about their experiences in Tuathon. Make Orin help you, or find a way into the city on your own. Also, new task, recover the burial mask from the Shimmering Flats. Exploration ends. Okay, so chapter 5, we're at an hour exactly. A little bit shorter. We've got quite a bit of terror. We still got some energy left. I wonder, we'll have to set up chapter 6, and then when we get to the end of the day, we're definitely going to spend some experience. We've got 10 experience, so we could get some more skills. So we'll look at that. I'm gonna plan that in between filming of episodes, and then when I start chapter 6, when we get to the end of the day and we can level up on the first day in chapter 6, we will definitely do that. The 4 dwellers getting a little close. We do have the shadow-soaked scroll. that we can use to teleport. We gain 2 terror when we do that, though. So we definitely need to heal up a little bit. I might want to make the Ford Dweller chase me a little. And then maybe use the Shadow Soaked Scroll to like teleport over here. Because if we go to get that Burial Mask, Camelot's here, First Farmhold, it's like here, I think, is the Shimmering Flats. Is that what it's called? Or Shimmering Beach, or whatever it is. But yeah, there we go. Another episode of Tainted Grail in the books. I hope you are enjoying this playthrough. If there's anything else that I missed, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to go back and double check to make sure I didn't forget to heal that terror. So this might go down one, another one in between. Okay, hope you're enjoying this, all the other series on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.